So we've been talking about the intimacy and the essence that's necessary for us to see his kingdom come, his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We've really been talking about the great commandment and really the great collaboration from John 17. So then what is it going to take to see that intimacy and that essence expand or extend? We use multiplication, generations, how important it is for us to not only have the essence, but when we have that essence, that very intimacy is to be shared. Freely we have been given, freely we have received, and freely we must pay it forward. We must extend, we must give, expand. We want to see his kingdom multiply. And that happens through generations of disciples, churches, and leaders. That's why the Great Commission is so important. So we need to have the great collaboration, the great commandment, and the Great Commission, all three of those things working together at the same time to see his kingdom advance. And so what is it going to take for you and I to actually be and make disciples? Far too often we focus on the gathering and don't see all of the expression. And so it doesn't start with me as an individual saying, God, change me, transform me, work with me, and then see that overflow to others. We immediately start thinking about the gathering. And if we are committed to just gathering as the church and not being the church, we miss the mark. And that's why disciple making is so essential and important for the kingdom expansion and extension to all nations. Go and make disciples of all nations. And it starts at the very smallest level with me as a disciple. And then in my home, Kelly and I, my wife, we have a responsibility to be disciples and the church from our home, not just in the gathering, but in the going. And so these principles are super important for kingdom expansion, but we've got to have the essence. Another way I like to communicate it is that we need the wine of the Spirit, and then we need the wineskin of his church and of his disciples in order to distribute it, to take it, to be the containers he's called us to be. He says we are vessels, cracked pots, that the very power of God is within us. And so we have to have the essence, but then that essence, that very life, the life of God's Spirit, needs to be taken to the ends of the earth. And so we are also containers. So we need the wine and the wineskin. And I've used several ways to just explain these key principles of the Great Commandment, the Great Collaboration, and the Great Commission. We need all of them working together to extend this great kingdom, to extend his love, to extend his life, to extend disciple making to the ends of the earth. His church is his plan. His people are his plan. And so we need to be the very thing we want to see transform our communities, our cities, and nations.